Hello, I was brought in a Craftsman snowblower yesterday, and the person was complaining about the snowblower. First, it would start and then it would stall right out. It would start and just die, and then after a while later, it would just not even start at all. And he was thinking it was a spark plug. It wasn't getting any spark. So I checked it for spark. I have a little tester. Had spark. Spark plug's a little old, so I put a new spark plug in. So I noticed I had spark, so the coil's working okay. But as a precaution, I put a new plug in anyway. It's no big deal. And so then I started thinking, he mentioned he put new gas in the tank, and he put the stabilizer in it. But that doesn't mean the gas in this is the carburetor from it. It's a Tecumseh engine. It's a Tecumseh carburetor, and it's on a Craftsman snowblower, a 3.8 horsepower snowblower, small one. And I find them a little easier to work on than two-cycle engine ones. Two-cycle is you mix the two-cycle oil with gasoline. Usually the ratio is 30 parts fuel to 1 part of two-cycle oil, or it could be 40 and even up to 50 parts gasoline to 1 part of two-cycle oil. Now with the four-cycle, it's straight gasoline, and there's usually on the other side you use a 30-weight oil. So 30-weight is four-cycle engines. Seems like they're easy to get the carburetor out with easier tools. But this one, had a cover around it. It was a little hard to get out. But I got it out, and right on this side here, I'll show you here, is a manifold. I would call it the intake manifold. Connects. So you have to move the muffler off, which the muffler is on with two 7/16 bolts. You take them out, then you can get to the two screws. The two screws, or you could use a 3/16 nut driver to get them out. So it's a Phillips head screws or a nut driver. You should use a big Phillips head screwdriver if you're going to use a screwdriver. And back here, it was a cover, and then over that goes a little thing that looks almost like a cup. I guess if you had to use starter fluid, you'd spray it in that cup and it would start it up. And this is where the choke is. There's a choke. I just put the choke on. You can see. And the choke is released. When it's cold, you put the choke on. So it's warm it up, go little by little, until it's all the way open. Then you open it all the way. Now this particular carburetor was gummed up bad. I cleaned it because I couldn't clean it in the house, which I am in the house now. I cleaned it outside. And this has a good thing here. Like if you want to get the stale gas out, there's this little spring here. You push it up on the bottom. See? And that releases the gasoline that's in there. And sometimes to keep a car going on a snowblower, it's good to start it up once in a while, even in the summer, that keeps it running, the fuel running good. And it's good to use a little stabilizer in your gasoline too. But even on a lawnmower, sometimes I start them up in the winter to make sure they keep running on me, Now this particular one, I cleaned it as good as I could. You have a 1/2-inch wrench or a 1/2-inch socket could go here. And that takes this nut off. And this nut here, this bolt, I should say. It's not a nut, it's a bolt. If you look real close, there's a hole right there. And that should be cleaned out. See? You're supposed to see daylight through there. This hole right here. There. And what I use sometimes to clean them out, if I got it on me, I use well, I don't have it on me. I come unprepared. Well, I use a bread tie. What you do is you take a bread tie, you strip the outside off of it, and then you got the thin wire. So I put the little wire through all these little jets, or these ports you want to call them, clean it out. And then I use carburetor cleaner. I spray it with carburetor cleaner. I use a Campbell Husfeld, I believe it's called, air compressor. I blow it all out. And sometimes in the threads that are on here, I take an old toothbrush and I clean it with an old toothbrush. And that makes sure it's clean. Then you got your bowl. This is your bowl right here. It comes right off when that nut's off. There's the bowl. And I clean the inside of the bowl. Now, what am I doing? I'm going backwards here, huh? I go righty, it goes lefty. There it is. The inside of the bowl is a lot cleaner. It was very cruddy. That's from gas laying in there. Okay. So I clean that. Then if you look closer here, you got your float. Goes up and down. When it fills up with gas, it'll go up like this, and that turns the gas off. Because you got a pin here, and I'll show you that. And there's a seat. When the gas don't want to come in nowhere, there you got enough gas, it opens up for gas, it closes, it hits the seat. The seat is a little rubber thing. Looks like a small, tiny little eraser on the back of a pencil that has a little tiny hole in the center of it. And that goes into the hole and cuts the gas off. Now over here, you got a pin going through here. So to remove the float, you got to pull this pin out. You can use a needle nose plier, and that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to take this pin out. I'll show you the pin. That's the pin, see it? Now once that's out, you can take your float out. And there is the float with the needle. See the needle hanging out there? That's the needle right here. Now, that comes out by just sliding it like this. Okay? Make sure you don't lose it. You don't want to lose it. I'm going lefty and righty here, huh? It's hard to do this thing. Okay. You know what the needle looks like, okay? So this is your float. You got to make sure there's no gas going in here. There's no leaks. Because if there is, it's not going to let up and down. It's just to have gas going in there. It's, going to be staying open. It's going to be down all the time inside the bowl like that. And it's not going to come up, so it's not going to turn the gas feed off. It's going to keep flood out. Your lawnmower is not going to run, or your snowblower. What I do sometimes, I put it by my ear and close my other ear, and I shake it. If you hear something in there splashing around, that means there's a hole in the float. You need a new float. And they're not expensive at all. This is a Tecumseh float. Oh, I don't know, a couple dollars maybe, right? For a new one. But this one was dirty, but it's not, I don't hear nothing. I shook it, there's nothing. It's good. It's a good float. No reason to change it. I cleaned it with carburetor cleaner, cleaned it off, and then I let it soak well with the carburetor cleaner and blew it off with my air compressor, the compressed air, and that's off. And then you got the bottom of your carb. These ports here should be cleaned. One here, and then you got one over here. Clean them out. I said, oh, we're right there, the little grooves. Clean them out with that, what I told you, the bread tie. Get it in there. Spray it with carburetor cleaner. Get it in there. And this could be brushed off with an old toothbrush is even good. Clean it and blow that out. Then you got a gasket here. I don't want to take off that O-ring gasket. If it's old, worn out, get a new one, especially if it's stretched out, because it's not going to line up. And when you put your bowl on, it's going to leak. And I would say stick your pin in there, your bread tie in there, and then blow this thing out. And here, spray in air with carburetor cleaner. And then a lot of times you spray in here, you'll see it coming out here. Right here. See that? I'll turn it this way so it'll show you long ways. Right here, that's where your hose goes on for your primer. So when you press the primer, you'll fill the air and the gas that primes the carburetors. Like you should prime it around 5 times so it'll start up, especially when it's cold. You do it right here. When it's cold, make sure you have your choke all the way on. And then I blow it out the air compressor when that's all done. And then that carburetor is clean. And you almost like disassemble it. Now you're like going to rebuild it again. So what I would do first is you got to put your needle on. The seat on this one seems in good shape. If it's not in good shape, you use something like a little tiny pick. You stick it in there, there's a little hole. You put it in, and you pull it out. It's almost like a thing you could use, almost like one of the things that the dentist would use to scrape the plaque off your teeth. You could even use something like that to pick it out with. Or sometimes what I do, I put my finger over it, or the hole. The hole right here. See it? That's where the needle, the seat is. And I put it forced air in here, and I put my finger over there, and I'll hear it pop. And I just tap it down on the workbench, and the seat pops right out. You get enough air in there. And your finger over it, So let me put this needle, I'll show you how to put it back on the bowl. I'm sorry, not the bowl. You put the needle on your float, just like that there with the wire. Right on there, see? It's on. And you gotta be really careful, so it don't fall out. I'm going to pick up my carburetor, like so. I'm going to put it right in there. It's in, okay? Now while I got that in, I'm going to take that stem that goes through, the one I showed you I pulled out with the those pliers. I'm going to slide it in. It's hard for you to see with this. I don't have the best tech equipment here. Let's see, I'm sliding it in. Where am I at here? Okay. See, the float's on. I'm sliding this stem in. Right here. Right through it goes, through the float, onto the other side. It goes there real good. Okay? It's across. And so, you try it out with your float, with your finger. Go up and down with it. Up. Okay. And there's the needle going onto the seat. Now it's going on the seat. So when the gas comes in, it goes like this. And then when it regulates, it goes like that. It goes back down again, so no more gas comes in. So I got that pin in there. Then you take your bowl. Make sure this curved part of your bowl. See where the curved part is on the bowl? The lower part, right here. You see the way it's designed. See, this part here goes to where the pin is on that side. So that's how I'm going to put it on. Right where the pin is the lower side of the bowl, not the higher side. The higher side goes where the float goes up and down. Cabiche. Trying to explain to you the best way I could. Where am I going here? Right here. There. So I'm going to put that on. Put on that gas there. And this is working up and down, the needle's going up and down. Okay. I'll put that on just like this. Okay. Okay. It goes right on there. That's stuck on there. Good. That's on there pretty good. Then you put your, let's see, what did I do wrong here? Nothing really. Down. Goes on like that. And then I take this, the bolt with the jet on it. See? That there. With my fingers. That gets screwed in. And then you tighten it up. With a 1/2 inch box wrench is good. Or tighten it up. Make it snug. You don't go crazy tight because this is brass and it'll snap off. Don't go crazy tight. Go snug tight and it still won't leak. And you can use a socket with a ratchet. Just that's it. Yeah. Or 1/2 inch wrench. Box wrench is good because it's recessed. So the box wrench will work good. So that's your carburetors back together again. And you hear the float going up and down. Okay. All right. I hope I showed you something worthwhile. Take care now.